Welcome to Women at the Top, where we share professional journeys to inspire yours.
Hello, I'm your host, Max Zhang, founder of Human Prosperity. Today, I'm excited to have Thelma on the show. Thelma, welcome to the show. Please tell us about yourself.
Hi, Max. Thanks for having me today. Yes, I'm Thelma Haddock. I have been in corporate America for a couple decades, and I've prided myself on being a people first leader throughout that time, even as I was coming up, learning my way. I've always wanted to help others and help them succeed as well as continue to grow myself. And so most of my career was in sales operations, and most recently, it was in change management. So I've had a pretty well-rounded career, and happy to be here with you today. So thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's great that you have kind of reached a level of director. That's not something that that's easy to do. So, can you tell us a little bit more about how you got to where you are today?
So I guess I'll go back to my foundation. As I was a quiet kid growing up, always observing, figuring people out. My mom taught me to listen, form opinions, and use my voice. And my dad, on the other hand, taught me to speak with purpose and know when to hold back. And so why that's important is that once I got into corporate America and was in a pretty male dominated field the entire time, there was a lot of times that I was overspoken and underestimated, and ideas got reframed. And that was frustrating. Absolutely, it was. But it taught me something crucial about when to speak, how to speak, as far as timing and presence and power. And so what I'll say is that I'm grateful for every experience and every challenge and every person who shaped me into who I am today, because they all mattered. And so that is why now, if you follow me on LinkedIn, there's a lot of things that I speak about is about empowering people to use their voice. And so that's very important for me, to try to help others to do that, because sometimes when you're in situations where you may be one of the only people amongst others who, your uniqueness sometimes can be overlooked and overshadowed by the idea of, people who sometimes think the same, look the same. So just want you to be able to believe in yourself and to, not do anything to let anyone shrink you or your voice. You can be successful. You don't have to be the ones that are the loudest in the room to get your point across. It's just all about that, timing and knowing when to speak and how to speak to get your points across.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's so important to focus on empowering versus limiting. A lot of times, we have so many limiting beliefs that, a lot of times we don't even notice those limited beliefs, kind of playing and changing our action, changing how we feel, and which reduces our success. It's so important to be always focusing on, the positive side of things, the positive aspect. So, and definitely, really thankful that you are sharing empowerment tips and things like that. So, yeah. So I do want to go back a little bit more about your career in terms of change management, because I think, that sounds like, pretty obvious, but at the same time, I think a lot of people may not know what that is. So can you tell us a little bit more about what that means? Like what is change management, and how do you actually become good at change management?
In 2021, I was a senior director or a director of a territory. And I was asked by our chief technology officer to come into our enterprise IT organization and build a change management team from the ground up. I knew nothing about change management, but what I did was I hired people who did, learned from them. We grew together. I provided the leadership, and they had that backbone of knowledge there later on, I went on to become certified in change management myself. And with that, we in the company, we had a lot of transformational technology-based changes going on. And so my team was challenged with making sure that we were bringing along the people along with the change. So they felt like they were a part of the change and not that the change was being done to them. And so that's a lot of what change management is, just to making sure that we can take the current state and then get everyone to the future state and be able to function properly and move forward and take advantage of all the new technologies and all of the enhancements that come with the new ways of working.
Mm-hmm. And what would be like a common example of that?
There was a project that I worked on that involved a transformation with Oracle Cloud and moving everyone in the company over to that. And that was a partnership with the business, IT, which as well as change management, project management, and program management, to be able to deliver that change across, at the time it was 57 different countries in different waves and phases. And so with each phase and wave, you're dealing with different areas of the world, and you have to be able to understand what's going on in those particular markets and geographic areas, so that you can, and those employees, what matters there, what the challenges are. And then that's what my team would work on and work with those stakeholders to be able to understand what they have going on there, help them understand what the goal is of the program, and then also start to work with everyone to try to bring that piece together so that we can start implementing those changes and bringing everyone along with those changes.
Yeah, that sounds pretty complicated, and and having actually to work with so many different teams and to actually coordinate that kind of massive effort is definitely not easy. So, what would you say will be some of the key skills of being successful in doing change management?
I think that you have to understand have a broad view of your organization, what they're trying to achieve. If you're going through any type of transformation projects, to be able to kind of look at what all's going on, seeing if there's anything that overlaps, because you don't want to have change fatigue with a lot of things going on in one place at the same time with the same people, but different programs. So be open to change, be able to understand changes, and collaborate cross-functionally, because you're going to be working with the business, the program teams, the IT teams, and all that. So you need to be able to be that leader that can bring all those together so that we can have a successful change.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm sure throughout your career, there's also many challenges kind of going through. It's awesome that you have this kind of success. But at the same time, there's always a lot of challenges to get to where you are today. So can you share us some of these challenges that you kind of gone through and how you overcame it?
I would say, as far as, I think it goes back to mindset for me, because I'm very curious and would say I'm very self-aware as well. And so when I face challenges, I would say I welcome them, because I don't view them as a threat. I actually look at them as a way to say that, okay, what is this challenge? What is it going to take for me to overcome it, or to learn from this and move forward and be able to be better moving forward? And so with those challenges, sometimes you do have, I would say, because you are working a lot of times cross-functionally in a lot of these different positions that I've been in, you have to be able to understand and meet people where they are. We may have a deadline and need to have certain things done, but you have to find a way not to basically shove things down people's throat and help and be able to work with people. I think that can be a really big challenge and can take some time to kind of learn how to maneuver and do that. And I would say that's something that I do pretty well now.
Okay, that's awesome. And what are some of the daily habits you have to allow you to achieve the high level performance that you do?
I would say I listen first. I observe very deeply, and that's with everything that I'm doing on a daily basis. So I really believe in journaling my thoughts and what it is that I'm dealing with, what may have come across a challenge. Then I go back and look at those to see what it is that that would help me to get through those. And I really try to make sure that I'm focusing my attention on what really matters. So that's a really big habit for me. And that journaling, it kind of keeps me grounded, helps me process, and reminds me to lead with kindness and with heart.
That kindness is something that's missing in a lot of places nowadays. So it's so important to focus on that. So if someone is starting out in their career, do you have some kind of advice for them?
I would say to be very curious. Don't get too fixated on what it is that you're doing now, or not even that. In some cases, unless it's very specialized, what your degree is. When you're very curious and you network with people, you open doors that you may not have been able to go into if you hadn't been. And so I would just say remain curious, work hard, but also leave time for yourself. Be kind to yourself as you're growing and doing all the things that you are to achieve success in your career. And I would also say that be kind to others, and don't be so obsessed with ambition that you forget about your authentic self and who you are. You can be who you are and be successful. So you don't have to be just like everyone else. You can do it your way.
Yeah, it's so important to be just who you are. If you're not able to be who you are, who else can you be? So, and definitely, the plus one on the curiosity. Nowadays, it's so important to always be curious, always be learning, and that's how you can actually stay ahead. Because if you're not learning, you're not growing, you'll be falling behind. So what would you say is your proudest accomplishment?
I would say that rising in complex environments has been something that's been something that I've been successful with, and been able to lead with my values and lift others along the way. I would say that's been my biggest win, not just to make a way for myself, but to make a way for others as well. And I would say something that really makes my heart smile is watching people I've supported step into their own power. And so I just have so much gratitude for the teams and mentors and the allies along the way that fueled my success, which helps me to fuel other success. So what I say is, your impact outlives your title. So don't worry so much about the title, but think about those that you're impacting outside of that.
Mhm. That's awesome. And the one last question for you. So what's next? What's your dream?
Oh, so as far as my dream goes, I would say I want to scale my thought leadership through speaking and writing and mentoring and strategy. And I want to build movements that empower leaders that are often overlooked or underestimated. I want every leader to reach to see their voice as their superpower and to claim it fully. And I want them to be able to do that without apology and just step into that power and lead from hard and lift others and leave their mark. And I think you can do that without stepping over people. I think, you can be kind. I view kindness not as a weakness, but as a strength, and just have your boundaries as your protection, and just know that having that and doing that for your that self is you're asking for respect, but you're not allowing people to overstep you, or give them permission to be unkind to you just because you're kind.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing a journey to inspire others.
Thank you.
For listening and hope that inspired you to reach the top. To get some help, check out our free services at humanprosperity.io.